Hello guys, welcome to Blue Collar How To Lean-To. This is Rick Moore. Today I'm going to give you some tips on how to extract some hard to get out bolts and screws. Got some cool tactics and little tools that you might be able to use here to help you get on your way with your project or your job. So hang with us. Okay, so I was out here in my little lean-to shop here, and was thinking today about all the years I've spent working on equipment and my own vehicles and you know, building equipment. I built processing equipment for a long time, and you know, every now and then you run across a situation where you have a bolt that's you just can't get it out. You know, you put the socket on there and can't quite break it loose. Or you know, maybe seized up, or like some of these regular screws here that may have a flat head or a Phillips head type thing on there. But I've got a few little things that I keep around. Figured I'd share them with you, give you some quick tips here, try to make this as short as I can. But anyway, a couple little things I have here. Right off the bat, I got this little tool here I got as a gift this Christmas. And it's supposed to be a universal bolt extractor. That's what it's supposed to be, and it's kind of one of those gadget things you've probably seen on TV here and there, and I've seen them too, and I've often wondered how they work. But this might be a good little quick thing just to keep around. In this instant, you may not necessarily have the right wrench, boxed in, open end, or socket that you know may fit that bolt that you need. So just as an extra tip, this is a cool little gadget they've come up with. This one right here goes from 1/4 to 3/4, 7mm to 19mm was what it claims to fit. I'm not sure of the strength. You know, if you actually had to put a lot of torque on it, how much it would hold, but it does look like a pretty handy gadget. It's got a nice little attachment there that you can put into a drill. Looks like a standard 3/8 socket, and it actually comes with a little short extension that'll fit your 3/8 ratchet, and you know, fits right in there, and that might be a good option. But what it does is it's got a spring-loaded mechanism in there, and you can just, when you push it in, I don't know if you can see that, but when you push it in, it actually pushes these little metal dowels in here down, and supposedly to fit the size of the bolt. Thought that was kind of a cool little tool. Again, I'm not sure how much torque that would take, but it'd be a cool little handy tool to keep around. That I just wanted to add to that. But say you've got a bolt, you know, like this, that's stuck, maybe in your vehicle or a piece of equipment you're working on. You know, there's no telling. You run into these things in in odd places. But say you can't get that bolt out, you can't get your socket and your ratchet's just not able to pull that out. Not be able to break it loose. And you know, an extra thing you can try, of course, you know, sometimes you don't think about it in the heat of everything, but you know, try taking and putting an extension bar, what we call a breaker bar. You can put a breaker bar on your ratchet, and that would give you extra leverage that would help you break that. So that would be an option right off the bat that I would try. Say if you just can't get it loose with your standard length of your handle on your ratchet, you know, you can put an extension on it. Sometimes I've used a piece of pipe that fits over the handle, but just that extra leverage sometimes is enough to pop that loose. But say you can't, maybe that's not working, and you just got to get that bolt out. There's a couple other options you have. You could take a drill bit, and you can drill the center of this out. You don't want to drill it too far, you know, probably maybe 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch maybe. The trick is to make sure that your drill bit size is not larger than your thread size. Optimally, you want to make sure that that's going to be smaller than that so that you don't damage the threads of whatever it is you're taking it out. But if you can do that, then they make a tool. This is a little tool I've had for probably 20 years, a little set. It's a spiral screw extractor kit. That's what this is called. And it looks like this. It kind of looks like a drill bit in a way, but it actually has an edge on these that bites. So what you do is you drill that in to the size that you need for the extractor, and then again, not going too large so that you don't trash your threads of whatever it is you're taking it out. And then you would insert that into that. You'd tap it in. You tap it in, tap it in so that it bites good. And then you can use like a tap handle. And I'll show you a tap here in just a second, but just a simple tap handle like that, you would put that on there and tighten it down. This is an old one. I've had it forever too. But you can put that on there. Again, tap it up in there. You want to tap it so that these little teeth, so to speak, if you want to call them teeth, so they will bite into the hole that you've made. And once you do that, then you can start tapping and trying to reverse that. And what happens is it'll bite on the inside of the metal, and you can reverse it and pull it out. And this is also an option if you have taken a socket and put it on here, or a wrench. Say you've taken a wrench or a socket and maybe you've rounded these edges off. If you can't get hold of these anymore, then then your socket, your ratchet, your tool, it's not gonna bite on it. So this is really what this is for, is if you've messed up the head and you can't get it out. You could put that in and extract it, put that in and bite it, and you could actually feasibly get that out. But that's one option for that. Another option could be, I've been in a situation before where I didn't have one of these extractors in a bind, and sometimes something as simple as a cold chisel. You can take that cold chisel, and if you can take a hammer and get an indention started in the edge of that bolt, you can drive that in the direction, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey in most cases. You could actually drive, tapping it with a hammer. Again, depending on what you're working on, you don't want to beat the fool out of it, because you may damage the part that you're working on, or you may snap this off in here. And again, if you snap it off in here, here's another option for this same tool here. If you were to snap this head off, you could do the same thing. You could drill with that head gone. You could actually drill what's left inside that hole. You could put a hole, drill a hole into it, get that extractor in there, and still be able to extract that bolt, even without the head on. That's more or less what these are made for. But again, you could take a cold chisel. That's another option. Again, you'd want to take and get it against it, and you'd want to tap it, get an edge, a little cut into it, and then it's almost like a glancing blow is what you'd do. You don't want to hit directly on it. You'd want to hit in the direction that you're trying to turn with it. But that would be another option, would be a cold chisel. And if you were to, say you got down in there and maybe you over drilled your drill bit size, maybe you didn't have the right drill bit, and sometimes you just got to use what you have. And I've been in that case before myself. Sometimes you may that size may be a little over, and you may actually damage your threads a little bit, and you may have to step up to another size bolt. If that's the case, then as long as you haven't gone too far oversized on your hole, you can drill that out. If you have damaged some of those, then they make what they call a tap, and that's what this is here. And what this actually is you can take this, and inside where your threads are, if you'll notice, it's very similar. It's basically like a screw, but what it'll do is it'll clean the threads out and actually recut threads. Now you'd want to keep, I use what they call anti-seize. If you can see a little bit on there, probably it's a lubricant. Either way, you'd want to lubricate that to keep from, when you cut into that metal or you're cleaning it out, it does get a little hot, and it could warp the piece, could damage it completely. So again, you'd want to keep put a little lubricant on there of some kind. I personally like to use what they call anti-seize. It's like a paste. You just put a little bit on there and you just chase the threads out. But that's an option, you know, if it goes too far and you need to, you could tap that out. But anyway, so there's a couple of options for just a bolt. Again, you can use these ease outs if you need to. You want to tap the hole, use that ease out to ease it out, to get it out. You can use a cold chisel by glancing. You want to get a little bite started in a little cut. You want to hit it hard enough to get a little cut into it, and then you can glance it with a hammer. Sometimes I've done that before, and that'd be the ticket that got it out. But that's an option there. So anyway, that's just on like a standard, say a hex head bolt. Now, on the other side, say you have a screw. It's got a flat head, or say a Phillips head, and you just can't. You're not getting a good bite on it. Sometimes you'll even round your heads off on your tool, on your screwdriver, or your electric drill bit, or whatever you're using. I have another little tool here. It's kind of cool for this, and it's called an impact driver. This one was actually made by Great Neck. I don't know if you can see that. It's called Great Neck. It was a little company that makes tools, and I've had this for probably 20 years as well. I haven't used it very often, but this is just something I thought of that would be an option for you to try. And what this is, it's an impact driver. If you know, and this is really heavy. If you get one in your hands, you'll see this is very solid, very heavy. And what it does is it comes with some bits. If you can see these, there's some Phillips head and some flat head bits, and get them out. The concept is you would take that bit there and you'd put it into the end of your impact driver. And if you notice, that's got like a 3/8 type, like a end of a ratchet attachment. But what happens is you can take this impact driver, and say that screw is embedded in there. You can take this, put it on there. Again, it's got a flat head or a Phillips head, but you take that and put it on there, and what you do is, when that is on there, you're going to strike it with a hammer here. And this you can strike really hard. This is really solid. Take a good ball peen hammer and strike that, and as you strike it, what it does, it strikes and it actually impacts it and turns it. It jars it. If you have something like this that may be rusted or seized up around the head, this will knock it loose. But this is an impact driver, and but you can use this. Take a good ball peen hammer and use this to. I mean, you can really wail on these things. You get a rusted screw in there, and you can wail on that thing, and when it hits it, it almost acts like a ratcheting mechanism, and when you strike it, it can very easily pop that seized bolt, and that's what you're after in using this tool. And this tool is to break that. If you have a rusted screw or something that may be even rusted down in the threads, the impact of striking it hard suddenly will pop it. It'll break that seize that's going on in it, and that therefore enabling you to possibly continue with your regular screwdriver or this. I mean, this is mounted in here. You could actually use this as a screwdriver if you wanted to as well. It's got good grips on it. But anyway, this is an impact driver. That's what this is. So anyway, just a couple of quick tips. Another thing, before you try to get anything out like that, something as simple as penetrating spray. I keep a bottle of this around all the time. This is a PB Blaster. It's a company that makes this, but I mean something as simple as a WD-40. This I think penetrates better, but be a little patient and take a little time beforehand and spray your bolts down with this. Give it 15-20 minutes, come back to it, and this will actually penetrate below the head and into the threads. And this could be something as simple as that. Sometimes will just be the trick that you need. But either way, put this on, and even if it comes to the point where you have to use a pull bar or an impact driver, whatever, something as simple as that, it will help it'll help break that seize that goes on. So anyway, just trying to make a short video here. There's many other methods that you can try as well. You know, you can go as far as heating, take a torch and heating a bolt if you need to. I've had to do that before as well. But these are just common, just, you know, everyday things. You may be working on a little small project and you just can't get that bolt out. A couple little tips that you can try. So anyway, just thought of it today. Thought it'd be a cool thing to put together for you guys. So if you don't care, give us a like and a subscribe, ring the bell, whatever it is you're supposed to do these days on YouTube. And check back with us, and you know, we'll try to put some more videos up. I'm calling this thing the blue collar how-to, because I'm just a regular Joe, regular guy, you know, that's worked on most of his own equipment, most of his own stuff, and I've, you know, built equipment as a professional as well too. So yeah, come back to us and see what else we got going on next time. So we thank you and see you next time.